Hello everyone, welcome to the last LAB78 show ever. This is episode 14. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Yes, my name is Sky. This is LAB78 here on Espresso with Sky. If you haven't done so, all of you guys who are actually listening live right now in the chat room, go ahead and click that like, right? Because you can just kind of go right there and then press a like. Tuk, 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 right? You have to press like there. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And comment. What's the comment for today? The comment today is, what kind of content would you like to see in the future? And I will talk a little bit about this a little bit later. For those of you, I have big shout outs today, especially want to sponsor us to support us here on Espresso with Sky. We have PayPal and we also have buymeacoffee.com. And I do got to give some super shout outs to some super supporters. They've been buying me tons of cups of coffee, sending me coffee too. So a couple people I want to shout out to. Number one is there's Nelly over there. She's sent me like bottles of cold brew. There's Angel and Richard, Joe Ling, Indonesian Joe Ling, I guess, Patsy and Casey, a bunch of people. Thank you so much for sending all that, excuse me, for sponsoring us on buymeacoffee.com. I drank almost every latte that you guys have sponsored, so thank you so much. All right, let's go into some updates, right? What's been going on? Number one is I was supposed to have my interview for immigration this Friday, but it has been postponed to next Friday. And the reason I postponed it myself, so it wasn't the government, it was me, because on Friday I do have a final exam. I am online giving Bible training to a bunch of people. It's like the final exam and stuff like that. It's out of 500 points, and everyone's a little bit nervous, but since I had that test, I postponed the immigration meeting. So, and here's the hard part, guys. I actually think that most likely I'll head back to Canada. The reason is, there is no reason, there's nothing holding me back. All the reasons I had to stay before, they've all been resolved in Canada. Like, what Canada has is really dumb rule, where if you're flying back to Canada, you have to stay in a hotel for three days, right? But the hotel, like for those of you in Malaysia, it's like 1,500 ringgit per night. And you have to stay there for 3 nights, not including food. Not including food. And that's only 3 nights. So the government like makes you do this, but now they're taking that down. So I have nothing holding me back. So the only person that can keep me in this place is probably God. God is the only one that will allow me to stay in this place, right? So that is probably one of the updates that I have. Second update is, I know you guys are wondering, why is this the last episode, right? Some people are like, oh no, it's the last episode we're going to do. And I'm like, okay, well, last episode means this. We're going to stop LAB78, which is this live show. We might do another live show later. We're not sure about this, but you guys can go ahead and write that in the comments, but you know, not in this room, but in the comments, right after this is over. I'm going to tell you why we're going to kind of stop, and we're going to actually change direction of this channel. Well, here's the thing. The only reason the channel started to just like pick up steam was because of these like Malaysia stories I had. Stories about, you know, why I want to move to Malaysia, and like my crazy experiences with the bathroom, right? And with the hose and stuff. Like I have all these crazy experiences here in Malaysia. But, you know, and that's something I thought it was really fun. But, you know, for the algorithm on this channel, I would have to keep talking about Malaysia like twice a week. Like every single day. And as much as I love Malaysia, I don't have a story to give twice a week, okay? I don't go to the bathroom that much to have that many bathroom stories. I don't have that many things to to give you guys. So you know, for myself, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. My passion and things that I want to talk about is more than just Malaysia, right? Like I love Malaysia, don't get me wrong, I love Malaysia. I love Southeast Asia. But for me, my passion, obviously, I'm a missionary, I'm a pastor. And what's even cool, though, is a lot of you guys send me these comments. You guys send me, like, you know, direct messages, instant messages, and you're always asking questions about kind of like faith in God and these types of things, too. So that's something I really like to talk about also. So I know that not everyone's into that, but I want to you know, if I want to do this long term, like this channel, it's got to be something that I'm really passionate about and something that I really want to talk about more than something that is, you know what I mean? Like, if I want to make this channel popular really fast, then I would just keep talking about Malaysia. However, it's not something that's like my biggest passion. Like, I'm not this travel person that's always talking about these different things in Malaysia. I don't want to travel to all the different sightseeing places. I don't, because I'm not much of a traveling person. After you travel to like 23 different countries, everything almost seems the same. Just gonna be honest, right? I'm sure even in Malaysia, Europe was one of the places that kind of touched this country before it became Malaysia. I'm sure, right? You know, Europe, England, Spain, France, they conquered everywhere. So I am going to change the direction of this channel somewhere within the next 3 weeks. Next 3 weeks, that's where we're gonna make a little bit of a change. But this will be the last LAB78. Then next week I'll have another vlog, and then the week after that is when we're going to start kind of new videos and new content that kind of fits what I want to talk about. So that's kind of the reason. So we're not changing the channel. We're not going to, you know, the channel's going to still stay the same. I am still going to be crazy as usual. I'm going to be funny as usual, but it's just in a different direction. So that's kind of the reason why this is going to be the last LAB78. We're going to change to something else. All right, cool. So big surprise right now. You know what I'm going to do for you guys? I'm going to do something that I should have done a long time ago. I got this in the mail, and guess what this is? This is my new sidekick, and my sidekicks will remain for the rest of my channel, okay? So this unboxing, we're going to take a look at what did I get new this time here, okay? This is going to be for the channel, and it's, you know, it's going to be something for, you know, like this is it, guys. I'm going to try to open this is... Remember, this is only my second unboxing in my life. You know what that means? It means I'm terrible at this. So what I'm going to do is, I know this... Ugh! Okay. I'm just doing this to show... Ugh. Here it is, guys. This is my new... my new sidekick, my new unboxing. Oh my goodness. This is... Guess who? Does it say in the back? Oh, it does. It is... That is John Wick, Chapter 2. All right, guys. This is one of my favorite movie characters. I love him right now. This is a movie called John Wick, okay? I'm not sure. Does anyone here know who John Wick is? I'm a huge fan of this guy. He's like, it's like a total guy movie, right? Super fan of John Wick. Should I open him up? Yeah, I need to open him up just so that you guys can see. Oh my gosh. Oh no. All right. This is probably not very good for a pastor that I have it's not even a bobblehead. It's straight up John Wick with a gun. Oh no, I don't know if a pastor should be having this type of thing when there's a guy with a gun on it, but this is John Wick. I'm going to leave that. Look at that. Ooh. He's got a gun. Okay, so I'm not sure. Do you guys know the John Wick series? I don't think you guys know the John Wick series. Okay. John Wick is a movie. It's a movie series. There's already 3 movies out. Another movie's coming out next year, but it's a crazy, crazy movie. And, you know, you guys know Keanu Reeves? One thing you need to know about Keanu Reeves, he's Canadian. Keanu Reeves is Canadian. That's not why I like him. I do like him, but it's not because he's Canadian. Okay? Well, that's part of it, but he's Canadian. When I grew up, I watched like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I watched Point Break. I watched, what's another one called? Speed, action movies. And then of course, like the ultimate movie that he made, that series was The Matrix. You guys have seen The Matrix? Because Matrix 4 is coming out this year. Just want to let you guys know, Matrix 4 comes out this year in December. So that's another crazy one. But one of my favorite actors, super kind guy, everything else. Now, here's the thing. Why would I like these movies about, like, you know, about killing and stuff? Do you guys know that how many people died in those 3 movies? That they show you how many people died? 299 people died. They show you almost 300 people dying in those 3 movies of John Wick 1, 2, and 3. And number 4 is going to be it's going to be crazier. Okay? So my question is, why would I be attracted, or why would I like such a guy like John Wick? Not just because of his action and stuff like that. But the one thing you'll understand about John Wick is he's what you call an anti-hero, right? An anti-hero he doesn't have all the traits of like the heroes that we're used to. You know what I mean? Like the heroes that we're used to are much different. Like, they have this character that is kind. They're always good. They have a good moral compass. But he's an anti-hero because he's an assassin. He's a hitman that kills people for a living, right? So then you're like, well, I'm going to say it, Pastor Sky, why would you like a movie about someone who kills a lot of people? And he's an anti-hero, but the thing about him is, he is a bad person that's trying to be good. He's trying to be good, right? So what happened is you'll find out that he actually used to be a hitman, but he basically put his life on the line to quit being a hitman or an assassin because of a woman that he loved. So he quit everything. He went through the worst pain and suffering for the woman he loves. And within 2 years, the woman, his wife, dies of cancer. So, he's really sad, but he doesn't want to go back into the hitman world. And what eventually happens is he gets pulled back, in these movies, he gets pulled back in because there's like these other gangsters, these gangsters that come in and they basically kill his dog, which was the last present his wife gave to him before she died. Right? And that's why he goes back into it. And, he's in the movie, he's doing it to get out. He's doing it because he's taking revenge for his wife. And no, I'm not saying you should take revenge on people, but I'm going to tell you one thing why I like this movie so much, because it's a very hopeful movie in one sense, as in a good person. There's some hope that there's still good inside of him, right? And the reason why I think that not just me, but a lot of guys will have like an attraction to John Wick is because it gives us that hope that even though I have like these bad things about me and bad characteristics, and I make a lot of mistakes too, rooting for him to become good again feels like it gives me a chance, or it gives me hope that even though I have these bad parts about myself, that it's okay, that there's hope and there's a chance, and I can change and look cool while changing. So this is it. This is John Wick. I can't wait to have my first show with him, and it's probably going to be in the new episodes too. So John Wick, here's my new sidekick. Like I said, guys, those of you guys don't know, Matrix 4 comes out in December. And yes, like I said, remember Keanu Reeves? Canadian. Yes, he is. Okay. So let's get into the next part. Okay. So there's unboxing's done. Thank you so much, everyone, for the unboxing. Yeah. The last unboxing of LAB78. So I'm going to go into two different stories, and one will be, one is going to be, actually, I'm going to change the order of the stories. I'm going to talk about what happened when I was living in New York, because it has more to do with John Wick, which means it's something pretty bad. Okay, so this happened, I was in New York from 2015 to 2019, 2020, around there. To 2020, that's right. 2015 to 2020, I was there for about close to 4 years, right? And you know what happened in New York? New York is like the 9/11 terrorism. There's like bombs that went off. There was like, a truck that ran into, there's just so many different things that happen in New York. And one thing you have to understand about New York is it's like the financial hub of America. And they said basically that if terrorists wanted to attack a city that gives the most casualties and most people die, it would be New York. So, you got to understand that's what it is. So I was actually leading a church there from 2015 to 2020. And we're on 25th Street. And there's one day in 2017, you can check this out in the news too. I believe it was a Saturday night or a Sunday night. It was one of the two. And we decided not to go home. So it was probably Saturday night because we're cleaning up the church before service the next day. And people were just doing this heavy cleaning, right? And everyone, for some reason, were like, oh, what should we do? You know what? We should do a big clean today. So we all decide to clean the church, and lots of people stayed behind, mopping the floors, everything else, doing a heavy clean. And as we're, cleaning, there's a kitchen sink and everything. All of a sudden, you hear this explosion, and the whole building shook. The whole building shook. And like the windows, like you thought it was going to break. It's like, and we're like, what is going on, right? And we're all looking at each other like, did you guys hear that? Like, how could you not hear that? And we're like, what? And everyone's like, what was that? What was that? And I was like, everyone stay here. Let me just check, right? Because we're also expecting some people to come to church too, right? So I went out and I see all these people running to this area, which is just 2 blocks. 2 blocks literally is about 50 meters. 50 meters down the street, I look and there's a bomb that went off. Right? This bomb went off 50 meters from like I would say literally beelining, it would be 50 meters from our church. And there was someone who made this pressure cooker bomb, and inside it is all these metal BBs, right? And it explodes and it flies everywhere. So it's about maximum kill. And what happened was they took this pressure cooker bomb, they put it into this like, you know, those big garbage bins. They put it in there. Boom, it exploded, and they said that garbage bin flew in the air 40 meters. And not only did it blow, like fly in the air 40 meters, the shrapnel and everything, 31 people got injured, 24 people were hospitalized, but it flew over 200 meters was the spread of all those BB bullets, right? And the crazy part is it's right in front of the subway station. So, and it's like 50 meters, maybe 70 meters from our church, our building. And it was so powerful that, you know, there's this building and then we're the building right behind it. And it was crazy, right? Oh no, we weren't 25th, we were in 24th. So we're 1 block away, right? And it was strong enough to shake the entire building. And, you know, the cops, fire ambulance, everyone came. I see people with blood, their heads bleeding and stuff like that too. And you know, it was one of the shock. You know, I'm not trying to scare you guys from going to New York, by the way, because I would go back to New York. It's a really, really nice place, except for terrorism. So either way, right? So that was one of the most shocking things that happened, and that was within my first 2 years of being there. But the thing I was so happy about was we had all the people who were supposed to go home early, right, during that time, and all the people that were supposed to come, none of them left, and none of them came, right? And I was just so thankful to God because there was, you know, and what's even crazier, there was a second bomb, 2 blocks up, same area, 2 blocks up, there was a second bomb, but it never went off. Yeah, it never went off, and the police found it, but it never went off, and it was all controlled by a phone, right? And that was, and this is not even the first time. While I was here in New York for like 4 years. There was one, like, acts of terrorism. I think there was 3 acts of terrorism in New York while I was there. And it wasn't just that bomb. There was one in New Jersey. It was just everywhere at the same time. So for me the reason I brought this up is because I am someone who is just so thankful, you know, just thankful. And I think that's something that we really have to think about a lot, is how much we need to be thankful, because this is the thing. We're thankful only when we almost die. You know what I mean? It's like almost like, oh my gosh, the bomb went off. Oh, thank you. So I'm like, thank you, God, right? But the crazy part is, I really believe that the time where you have to be most thankful is when nothing happens, right? There's a story I've told some of you here before, but it's a great story because I told this in one of my vlogs, but it's a story of a father and his child, right? And what happened was this child just starts to run around his house. You know, the child starts to learn how to run. He starts running around for the first time. And what happens is, you know, the child would play with toys. And then the child would start running around. And the father would be so worried about the child, because when the child starts running back in the room, there's toys everywhere and the child can hurt themselves. So the father would clean up the toys quickly just so the son could run through so that nothing would happen. And for this father, this story I heard when I was in South Africa, this father did this for 10 days, where he kept cleaning up the toys so the son would never get hurt. And only on the last time, on that 10th day, the father forgot to clean one toy. And the boy, his baby, his little boy, tripped over that toy, and then his head was going towards the table. Like his head was going to smash into a table. The father saves the child. And only then the child says, thank you so much. Like, thank you, Daddy. And then keeps running away, right? And what that father realized at that point is he's been saving this child for 9 days straight, but the child never says thank you. right? Never says thank you for 9 days straight. But only on the 10th day, when he almost gets hurt, is when the child says thank you. And this big realization here is, every day you go to school, every day you go to work, every day you do something, right? There's something you do, you go out, and there's always danger of something, right? And we never say thank you. Like for me, I'll never say, I realize I don't say thank you to God enough because nothing happened, right? But I'm like, am I waiting for me to almost die before I say thank you? Or should I be even more thankful for the 9 times out of 10 where he moved everything out of the way so that I would never get hurt, right? And I think it's something that we have to think about too, is we got to be, even today, guys, there could be something that could have happened. You just don't know, which means we still got to be thankful, right? So I hope you guys, more than anything else, can really, really, really enjoy, just be thankful and enjoy all the things that you go through, right? Which leads me to like another story. And this is a family story between me and my mom. Like, my mom watches all my YouTube channels, guys. She watches all the videos and she comments on every video. If you guys take a look at it, on my comments, look for Irene Kim. That's my mom. And I always respond, love you, mom. Thanks, mom. Love you. And I put a heart there every time. My mom, she's my biggest supporter. Okay. Well, by the way, she doesn't buy me any lattes on buymeacoffee.com, but that's okay because she's my mom and she gave me a lot of stuff. Mom, if you're watching, buymeacoffee.com. Can you buy me one latte just so I can say my mom bought me a latte? Look, even Nelly and Angel and Joling and them bought me more lattes than you. And you've known me all my life. No, I'm just kidding. Mom, you don't have to buy me a latte. Only if you really want to. But I understand if you don't. Okay, but this is a story about my mom, okay? So this story happens when I was like 7, 8 years old. And we're going to the dentist, right? So me, my mom, and my brother, this time 7, 8 years old. I think my brother, maybe I was 6, 7. My brother was like, he's 1 year older than me, right? And we just go to the dentist, right? So, you get your teeth all cleaned and everything else. And then we have that fresh breath, right? And what happens is, like, me and my brother in the back seat, we're playing with our toys, right? We're playing in the back seat with our toys. My mom's just driving, and I don't know what it is, guys. It's like that here too. But if you go to every corner, like every few blocks, you're going to see a McDonald's, right? There's going to be McDonald's on every block, right? So me and my brother are like, oh, we love McDonald's. So, we just came back from the dentist and we passed by McDonald's, and me and my brother are like, McDonald's! And we're screaming in the car, McDonald's! And then it passes by, we're like, oh, okay. And then you go back playing with our toys. But it's like every few blocks, it's like, McDonald's, right? And we keep screaming it until my mom, she's so frustrated. She's like, okay. And she pulls into McDonald's right after a dentist appointment, okay? Our teeth are cleaned, and the first meal we're going to eat, you're supposed to not eat for like 2 hours, right? But right away, we go to McDonald's. Okay, so we're going to McDonald's, and it's like, for a 6-year-old, it's like super exciting. We're like, ah! Right? And like my mom's looking at me, she's like going like, hey, honey, what do you want? I'm like, oh, I want 6-piece chicken McNuggets. Back then they didn't have the BTS meal, but the BTS meal, that's what I ate when I was 6. So when I saw the BTS meal, very disappointed. McNuggets? Really? Right? So either way, so I'm having it's not the BTS meal, it's the SKY meal. I came up with this first before them. Either way. Okay, so I get my chicken McNuggets, and then, my mom looks at my brother, and he's like, hey, hey, what do you want? And honestly, guys, you got to know that me and my brother have a great relationship. And when we were young, he used to beat me up every day, like all the time. But it was brotherly love punching in the face. It was brotherly love, black eyes, and brotherly love, tooth falls out. It's all brotherly love, right? Yeah, I was so scared. You gotta tell you this one time, guys. One time I actually tried to fight my brother back, and I had it in my head, like John Wick movies. I'd be like, pow, punch him in the face, and I'd be like, yeah! And my brother would be like, oh! And then when I went, pa! It's kind of like those movies when you expect, he's like, and I was like, ah! And then I just dropped on the ground and started crying. Okay, that's another story. Either way. So me and my brother, my brother is this, and he went to puberty. Honestly, to me, it felt like he went through puberty at 10. Okay, he went through very early. He's a big football player, everything else, much bigger than I am. And he's the one, like, you know, I was a little bit scared of my brother. I looked up to him, but I was scared of him at the same time, right? So he's like this, like, he's like this beast, right? He had like hair from his armpit. Like, you know, when you open your arm like this, you don't see hair coming out. He had like hair coming out of his t-shirt. That's how much hair he had, right? He was this hairy beast. And, you know, he's ordering the Big Mac. And like, oh, you know, my brother's eating the Big Mac. And then I look at my mom and I say, hey, Mom, what are you going to order? And my mom looks at me and says, oh, I'm not hungry. So I was like, okay. So we get our food, we sit down at the table, and me and my brother were just like eating our food. Of course, my brother's like a beast, so he's like, right? So he's eating his like Big Mac. For me, I was that little kid. I like to play with my food, right? The airplane game, it's like, right? So I'll be eating my food, everything else, my chicken McNuggets, I loved it. And then my mom, she reached over to take a French fry. And you know what I did? No! Mom! You said you're not hungry. I start eating my food again, right? That's the end of the story. And you're like, okay, so what the heck does that mean? So what I found out later on in life, I think my brother was the one that brought this up to me. And basically he said to me, he says, do you know why our mom didn't order anything? And I'm clueless, like, I don't know. And he's like, it's because she didn't have enough money for 3 meals. And then the whole scene of what happened played in my mind again. And there I was telling my mom she can't have a French fry because she told me she was not hungry. And I was so crushed because I was like, wow, this is how much my mom really like sacrificed and loved me. You know, she could have easily said, you brat, I paid for this, you stupid, and then take my food, right? She could have done that. But instead, she just didn't eat, and she just watched us in love, just watching us eat our food. The only good thing is my brother let her eat his food, right? But, you know, a lot of times I really look back, you know, of all these stories when I was younger, all the things my mom did for me. You know how great my mom is, actually? I have another story about my mom, but it's not even about my mom, but it's about my mom, but it's not about her, okay? But either way, so I realized what my mom was really like by watching my aunt and my uncle and my cousins, right? So one day, I went over to my cousin's house, and it was my uncle and my aunt, and they have the 3 kids, 3 sons, and I came over to say hi, and they're twins, right? And one of the twins did something wrong. I don't know what happened. I walked in, my uncle was pissed. He was so angry. He spanks his son in front of me. I couldn't even look because it gave me trauma because my dad used to do that to me. I'm like, right? Spanked my cousin. I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I here? And then my cousin, just like me, he's like, I hate you. Come, walks up the stairs, slams the door, right? And I was just like, oh no, I came at the wrong time. And then I see my aunt, she's like, walking up the stairs and going into the room. And then, of course, you hear muffled is like, and I was just like, and I'm listening to that. I'm like, hey, that sounds awfully familiar, right? I'm listening to this. And then my aunt comes back down. And she comes to my dad, not my dad, my uncle, and says, and like kind of like hits him on the shoulder and says, hey, why you shouldn't hit your son so hard? You know, what if he doesn't like, what if he hates you all of a sudden? You know, you have to treat your son a lot better. You got to hold yourself in these situations, right? And my uncle started to like calm down. He's like, right? And I looked at that, and the first thought I thought of was my mom. And I realized what my mom was doing, what I never saw. Every time I got punished and hit, my mom was coming up to the room, you know, checking on my wounds and like saying, oh, it's okay, calming me down. And when I'm like, I hate that. Oh, do you know why I'm like, right? And then I didn't realize what my mom was doing behind the scenes until I saw my aunt. And when I saw that, I was so inspired. I'm like, wow, like this is what my mom does. Or I guess in a sense, we have to look at this and say, this is what our mothers do. There is so much unseen. And those of you guys who don't know, it's very interesting because in the Bible, very fittingly, the Bible symbolizes mothers as the moon. And you're like, what? Well, why would it be the moon? Well, the moon is hidden at night. It's in the dark. There's so many things your mom does that you can't see. But when the Bible describes the moon, it's supposed to be fair and gentle and caring and graceful. I'm just like, wow, that's my mom, right? And it's true. Your father's the one out making the money or doing all these things. He's the one that makes the rules. But it's your mom that has that wisdom and that care in the background. And basically, she makes sure that the household is always running, that people don't hate each other, but everyone's always the good spirits. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, God, that's how amazing my mom is. Like, my mom is amazing, right? And I hope, Mom, if you're watching this, don't text me after with like some lovey stuff because I don't react well, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll probably be doing that when you do this, but yeah. So I'm very, very grateful and thankful because there are so many things that our parents do that we don't see. I know Mother's Day, Father's Day has already passed by, but I don't think there ever should be a single day that's for your parents, and you should do it every day, or as much as you can. There's too much to be thankful for, right? And of course, I would bring that up, for those of you who have faith, you got to give it to God every day too, more than anything else, because I think even more than your parents, I think God has been doing a lot more too. All right, guys? So that's actually what I've been praying for. I'm not praying for. That's actually what I wanted to talk about today, and that will be the end of the last episode of LAB78. Very grateful, very thankful for all of you joining. Super thankful. Like I said, guys, comment. What's the comment question again? Is what kind of content would you like to hear in the future? We're going to make a big change within the next 3 weeks. So you're going to see brand new content, more towards what I like to talk about. And honestly, guys, as long as you enjoy it, you can stay on. If you don't enjoy it, you can unsubscribe. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It isn't, right? Because I want to do something I really, really, really enjoy. And a lot of you guys, especially, I've already gotten probably 100 questions about faith. So you guys keep sending those questions in the comments. We're going to take all of them and we're going to make them into videos and stuff like that too. So super thankful and grateful. If you haven't liked it yet, go ahead, like in this picture right now. In your video, click the like button for sure. We'll get this to go out to a lot of people. And those of you guys want to sponsor us on this last day of LAB78, we got PayPal and buymeacoffee.com. Super grateful and thankful for all of you that are supporting us. Once again, to the super supporters like Nelly and Joe Ling, Angel, Richard, Patsy, Casey, thank you so much for sponsoring us here on buymeacoffee.com. All right, everyone? It hurts me to inform you this is the last LAB78, but we will have more and more episodes available, but there'll be different ones. All right, guys? Everyone have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys again. Bye-bye.